Picture this for a second. You're cruising down a wide American highway, the sun dipping low on the horizon, your favorite playlist running through the speakers, and you're sitting behind the wheel of a big, confident SUV that feels like it was built for exactly that moment. Now imagine that SUV being smarter, smoother, more powerful, and honestly, way cooler than before. That's exactly the vibe the upcoming Hyundai Palisade for 2026 is bringing to the table. But here's the real question. Did Hyundai just refresh their popular family SUV? Or did they completely reinvent it? And even more interesting, could this new Palisade actually challenge luxury SUVs that cost way more money? Stick with me, because some of the upgrades people are talking about might seriously surprise you. And there's one feature rumored for the 2026 model that could completely change how families think about hybrid SUVs. Alright, let's rewind for a second. When Hyundai first introduced the Palisade back in 2020, it honestly shocked a lot of people. Before that, when most folks in the US thought about three-row SUVs, names like the Toyota Highlander, Ford Explorer, or even the Honda Pilot usually came to mind first. But Hyundai stepped in with something different. The Palisade felt upscale, roomy, and loaded with tech without the luxury brand price tag. Fast forward to today, and the Palisade has become one of Hyundai's biggest hits in the US. Families love it. Road trip fans love it. Even people who used to swear they'd only buy luxury SUVs started paying attention. So when news started circulating about the 2026 version, car enthusiasts immediately started asking the big question: how do you improve something that's already doing so well? And that's where things get interesting, because from everything we're hearing, the 2026 Palisade isn't just getting a little facelift. Hyundai seems to be giving this SUV a much bigger glow-up. The design, the powertrain, the interior technology, pretty much everything is getting rethought. Let's start with the way this thing looks, because honestly, that's the first thing people notice when a new SUV rolls up next to them in traffic. The upcoming Palisade is expected to take on a much bolder, more squared-off look. If you've seen Hyundai's latest design direction, you know they've been experimenting with sharper lines and more confident styling. And the new Palisade appears to be leaning into that big time. The front grille is rumored to be larger and more upright, giving the SUV a stronger road presence. The LED lighting could stretch across the front in a sleek horizontal line, creating a futuristic vibe that feels more premium than ever. Think about the kind of visual presence you get from something like the Range Rover, that tall, commanding stance that makes people turn their heads. The new Palisade seems to be chasing that same energy, but in a way that still feels modern and uniquely Hyundai. Now imagine pulling into a parking lot and seeing that redesigned front end reflecting in store windows. It's the kind of design that says, yeah, this isn't just a family SUV. And speaking of size, early previews suggest the 2026 model might stretch slightly longer than the current generation. That could mean even more space inside. And if you've ever packed up a big SUV for a family road trip, you already know how valuable extra room can be. But here's where things get really interesting. For years, the Palisade has been powered by a strong V6 engine that delivers smooth performance and enough power for highway merging or towing small trailers. It's been reliable and refined, no doubt about that. But the automotive world is changing fast, and Hyundai seems ready to push the Palisade into the hybrid era. That's right. One of the biggest rumors surrounding the 2026 model is the introduction of a hybrid powertrain. Now think about what that means for a second. A big three-row SUV that gives you strong performance, but also much better fuel efficiency. That combination has been incredibly popular in vehicles like the Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid. If Hyundai delivers a hybrid Palisade with smooth acceleration and impressive mileage, it could instantly become one of the most appealing SUVs in its class. Families who drive long distances, commute daily, or just want to spend less time at the gas station would love that kind of upgrade. And let's be honest, gas prices in the US can be unpredictable. Having a hybrid option could make the Palisade a much smarter choice for a lot of buyers. But performance isn't just about fuel economy. Hyundai is also expected to tune the power delivery so the SUV feels strong when you hit the accelerator. That means merging onto highways, passing slower traffic, or climbing mountain roads should feel effortless. Now here's something I'm really curious about, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you were buying a big family SUV today, would you prefer a traditional V6 engine or a hybrid powertrain? Drop your answer below because I'm genuinely interested to see what most people would choose. Alright, let's step inside the new Palisade. Because this is where Hyundai has really been stepping up their game lately. The current Palisade already feels surprisingly premium. Soft materials, a clean dashboard layout, big digital screens, it honestly feels closer to a luxury SUV than a typical family vehicle. But the 2026 model looks like it's pushing that idea even further. Picture opening the door and seeing a wide digital display stretching across the dashboard. Hyundai has been moving toward larger, seamless screens in their newer models, and the Palisade is likely to follow that trend. The driver display and infotainment system may blend together into one smooth panel that looks futuristic but still easy to use. Ambient lighting could add another layer of atmosphere, especially during night drives. Imagine cruising through a city at night with soft lighting glowing around the cabin, your music playing through a high-quality sound system, and everyone in the car relaxing comfortably. And speaking of comfort, the Palisade has always been known for its spacious seating. The new model is expected to keep that reputation strong. 3 rows of seats with plenty of legroom, supportive cushions, and maybe even upgraded captain's chairs in the second row. For families, that second row is a big deal. Kids, friends, road trip passengers, everyone ends up sitting there at some point. So having comfortable seating and easy access to the third row makes a huge difference. Another area Hyundai might upgrade is technology for passengers. Rear entertainment screens, multiple charging ports, wireless connectivity. These are the kinds of features modern families expect because let's face it, long drives are a lot easier when everyone in the back seat has something to watch or charge. Now I want to ask you another quick question. Do you actually use the third row in SUVs like this? Or does it mostly stay folded down for cargo space? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious how people really use these big 3-row vehicles. Speaking of cargo space, the Palisade has always been practical. Fold down the seats, and suddenly you've got room for luggage, sports gear, grocery runs, or even small furniture. The 2026 model should continue that tradition. Maybe even adding smarter storage solutions. And then there's the driving experience. Big SUVs used to feel heavy and sluggish years ago. But modern engineering has changed that a lot. Hyundai has been focusing on making their vehicles feel smooth, stable, and surprisingly agile for their size. So when you're driving the Palisade through city streets or cruising down the interstate, it's designed to feel confident and composed. Steering should be light enough for easy maneuvering, but solid enough to feel stable at higher speeds. And for people living in places with snow or rough weather, all-wheel drive will likely remain available. That means extra traction when roads get slippery, or when you're heading out on winter adventures. Now here's something else that could make the 2026 Palisade stand out. Hyundai has been loading their vehicles with advanced driver assistance features. We're talking about smart cruise control, lane keeping support, collision avoidance systems, and parking assistance. These systems aren't meant to replace drivers, but they definitely make long trips and daily commuting less stressful. Imagine driving on a long highway trip while the vehicle helps maintain distance from traffic and gently keeps you centered in your lane. That kind of tech can make hours behind the wheel feel a lot more relaxing, and that brings us to something really interesting about the Palisade's reputation. A lot of people who test drive it say the same thing. It feels more expensive than it actually is. That's a huge compliment in the automotive world. Vehicles like the Kia Telluride, which is closely related to the Palisade, have proven that mainstream brands can compete with luxury models in terms of comfort and features. The 2026 Palisade seems ready to push that idea even further. But here's the twist. So, if you enjoyed hanging out and talking cars with me, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're into SUVs, car reviews, and the latest automotive news, go ahead and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. Trust me, there are some seriously exciting cars coming soon, and you're definitely going to want to see what's next. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.